In this piano tutorial, I want to share an R&B progression that is very easy to learn and play, but the most important part about this progression is the voicings that we're going to use and the substitutions that are going to occur within the progression, right? This progression, I divided into two sections. The first section are the main chords. Second half is sort of a little bit of variation within the chords, right? Giving it a little bit of change or substitutions, right? So we're in the key of C major, and I'll play the progression first and then explain the theory behind the chords, okay? Alright, as you heard, it's basically a 4-chord progression, and like I said in the beginning, with some substitutions in the second half, okay? So we started off on the 1 chord, but before we land on the 1 chord, I actually play a melody which sounds something like this. Now that melody is basically the C major pentatonic scale, right? So the pentatonic scale would be the 1, 2, 3, then the 5, and then the 6. But we're starting on the 5. So we're playing G, A, then C, D, and then when we land on the E, we're actually forming our C major voicing off of this E, right? And we're playing a C major 7. Now this C major 7 chord, very easy to memorize, right? This exact voicing. All I'm doing is playing an E minor with the octave over a C and a G, right? A C with this 5th, okay? So I get this C major. Then the next chord is going to be an A minor, but the voicing that I use, and also we repeat the same melody. So we do, we play this melody going from E to F to G, and then we play this A minor 9 chord, right? And my favorite section of this voicing right here is the B and C, right? You can sort of hear that dissonance, but it gives it a nice color. And the way that I memorize this chord right here, I'm basically playing a C major 7, right? This is C major, I'm adding the 7th, and then my left hand is playing A with its 5th, okay? So I get this voicing. Then the next chord is going to be an F major, but we're voicing it as a F major 9 chord here. Now this chord, the way that I memorize it, right, the way that I'm thinking about how to voice this chord, we're still maintaining the E up here, right? That's sort of the common factor between the first 3 chords, right? We had C major, then A minor, now we have an F major, and it's basically the root 5th octave. Then we have the 9th, the 10th, which makes it a major, right? The 5th, which is doubled from down here, and then the 7th, right? The 7th and the 9th are what give it that major 9 sound, okay? Now the next chord is actually going to be an F, but instead of being a major 9, we're going to play an F minor 6. And you hear this a lot in gospel music, right? Where we play an F to an F minor 6, right? And an F minor 6 is simply an F minor with an added major 6, right? Instead of a minor 6, it would be the 6 from the major scale, okay? So we had the 1, the 6, then the 4, and then the minor 4, okay? Then the second half of the progression, I play basically the same first chord, right, using the melody from the pentatonic scale. We're we're back to the C major 7. But then instead of going to the 6, I actually go to this F sharp 7 flat 5. Now, why does this work instead of the 6, right? Why does this substitution work? So what I'm thinking about here is I know that I'm going from C and then eventually I'm landing on the F. So I'm looking for a chord that I can use between the C and the F. And usually when we're going from C to F, an easy chord that we can do is basically a secondary dominant to the F, right? Which is a C dominant, right? So technically we could play this progression like this, right? C, then a C7, and then to the F, right? That works. But instead of playing the C7, what I decided to do was play the tritone substitution, right? So instead of playing C7, I played the tritone to the C, which is F sharp, and I made it a dominant chord, right? In this case, I'm voicing it as an F sharp, the minor 7th, the major 3rd, but I'm also adding a couple of extra notes, right? Making it a flat 5, and I'm doubling up on the minor 7th, okay? So this flat 5 makes it an altered dominant, okay? So that's the substitution that we're using for that C7. So it would be right, that passing chord right there, which you can actually use in any other scenario where you want to substitute a C7. And then we're back to the F major 9 in this case. But instead of playing this F minor 6, we're actually going to go to another substitution, right? We're going to go to this chord right here, a B flat 9, okay? Now, why does this chord work as well? So what I'm thinking about here is the voicing that I'm using, right? This F minor 6. It just happens to be that if we think about this F as a 5 and this A flat as a dominant 7, the root note would be a B flat, right? And it gives us this B flat 9 sound. So and a good thing about this voicing right here that I'm using for the F minor 6 is that we can basically play with a bunch of different root notes, right? For example, we played it for the F originally, which gave us an F minor 6. In this case, we're substituting it now for a B flat, which gives us a B flat 9. We can also play it or play a 5 as a root note, so a G. That would give us a G7 sus4 flat 9. Right? We can even play it as a 2, which gives us a D half diminished, right? We have a whole bunch of possibilities with this exact voicing right here, right? So technically you can even substitute this chord for a 5, for example. Right? And we're back to the same one chord that we had in the beginning, okay? Hopefully you were able to learn something new in this video, and if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them down in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to read it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.